I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Ethan Alexander joins us. Hi.
Hi.
I appreciate you coming on. We've been going back and forth for a little bit because I gave the wrong time for the interview.
That's okay.
Stupid time zones, always foiling me and my plans. But Ethan was very kind enough to join us at the time that I was able to do it, and I do appreciate it. Could you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, I'm Ethan Alexander. I am the doggish shopkeep of the Mimic Trap, which is an interdimensional magic junk shop that we're slowly filling up with stuff that is based off of some of our chats.
So international or interdimensional magic junk shop? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, I mean, what type of things are in that shop?
Oh gosh, a little bit of everything. We have the standard stuff that falls between the couch cushions, like keys and various coins and things, but also really fun items. We've got a couple swords on the wall. We've got a couple masks, different things. They're all based off of either games that we've completed on stream, or like if it's a group game, it'll be like we play it once and have a good time, and then I'll draw something in the shop. Or I have a redeem for some of my regulars if they'd like to be added as an item to the shop wall.
Well, I've gotten trapped between the couch cushions every once in a while too. I know how that goes. Waking up at 2:00 in the morning for no particular reason, and I can't move. I go, oh no, what have I done? So what brings you to the world of VTubing?
It's been an interesting journey, but mostly it was just wanting to make some friends and seeing. So I have a roommate. Their name is Azu, and they were very much into VTubers. I had no idea what VTubers were, and they're like, "This is a funny person that I watch," and I'm like, "Oh, that looks really fun." And then some odd months later, I find out that it's like a whole thing, and that there's many VTubers out there, and they do collabs together. They play games. It looks like a fun time and a good way to hang out. And I was like, oh, this looks like so much fun. Let me get into this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's at least you knew what you were getting into a little bit by doing it, but it didn't take you very long to convince you to give it a try.
No, it was very much a. I don't think they ever thought I was going to actually do it.
Uh-oh, the challenge has been set. And so once you did get figure out what you needed to start and you get it started on it, was it what you thought it was?
Yes, it was a little bit of you still need to actually make connections with people, which you still have to be brave enough to reach out and say hello and see if anybody wants to play games with you and stuff. But it was it's been fun. It's been really nice, especially when you start getting people chatting in your chat and everything, and you're not just playing to the empty audience. Once you get one person talking to you, it's like, oh, yay, new friends. This is great.
So was it easy for you to pick up the microphone? Some folks are scared of or not. Well, I say scared, but it's not the PC thing to say. It's have a fear of talking to folks and meeting new folks and that sort of thing. Did you ever have that problem, or was it, let's go, first person, let's talk to him now?
Oh no, I was very nervous. I grew up, so this is a little bit of a side tangent, but the way I grew up is I was very much, we don't talk to people on the internet. It's not just be safe on the internet, it's don't connect to other human beings on the internet. So being an adult, moving out of the house and having my roommate who spends most of their time socially on the internet, I was like, this is a whole new concept to me. So I was very nervous. But it was funny. I think my first big connection was I have this, it's like an unofficial VTuber group. It's really just a way for people to connect and we hang out and stuff. It's very nice. It's called Hub World. And I had, I think, liked and reblogged the fellow who owns it, which is Trist. and I had liked and reblogged his VTuber model, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit on a couple of his posts, and then he posted about Help World, and I was like, it's like, if anybody wants to join, I was like, oh, okay, all right, here's my shot. Okay, very nervous, just like, and sent the DM and everything,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, and so I've made a lot of friends there. It's been lovely.
Yeah, and the to have that open up for you, and it's really like having an entirely new world open up to you, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah,
It very, very much is.
yeah,
I was mostly working all the time, so I didn't really get out much to spend, fun time with people.
yeah. Well, yeah. If your life is work, 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 and here you have a chance to not just talk with other people without having to worry about that W word, and and enjoy yourself and kind of let the hair down a little bit, uh, and you get to do it with a avatar, so you can you can you have that just little bit of anonymity still that keeps you from that. Was it comfortable for you to settle down behind that avatar?
Yes, actually, it's funny because I know, depending on people's, what they want with their avatar, their story, and everything. I like there's definitely a story to me,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's very much just me. I am very dog coded, so this is so it wasn't that big of a stretch for me.
Are you saying that there are things of that type around you right now as we speak?
I'm sorry, I
You,
think I didn't
you
hear
say
part of the
to
first part of it.
dog coded. You have lots of dogs.
I've had dogs growing up. I love dogs so
Mm.
much, but I get very excitable. I love people.
Yeah.
I've developed an unfortunate habit of barking, which has been a result of the BT.
that that makes outdoor jobs a little bit different. And it does make interaction a little bit different. But again, it's 2025. Do what you want. But really, it does allow you to I won't say you particularly, but allow people to um, really express themselves and not have to worry so much about any feedback when it comes out. You can kind of let yourself go a little bit and enjoy yourself more.
Oh yes, most certainly. It's nice. It's not you're not worrying about, oh, do I look nice today? Is there something about, like, there's none of that, like, the am I smiling enough? Am I being personable enough? It's just your voice, it's just you. You can relax. It's
Yeah,
very nice.
yeah. And you have a great voice for it. With I mean, it's very expressive and obviously, I can tell when you talk about it how I can hear you smiling about it when you talk about it. But that does make a big difference if you can emote, if you can get across what you're trying to talk about. Um, it is still a very audio driven medium in that way where your personality has to come through in your voice, and yours obviously does.
Thank you.
Yeah, so were you somebody who got up on stage when you were younger and grabbed the microphone and took over the program?
uh, a little bit, kind of. There was a chunk of my childhood where my mom tried to get me to, like, sing on stage and stuff, and I've done, like, little things,
Yeah.
but it'd just be like talent shows at school and stuff. Nothing major. Nothing too crazy. But as moving out and working, because I worked at a retirement community
Mm,
in activities,
mm,
so I got to be like the hype person. So I was in front of people all the time, being like, "Yeah, let's go, let's have fun."
yeah,
First person on the dance floor. If they want somebody to sing, okay, sure, why not? Let's have a good time.
yeah. Oh, first of all, God bless you for that, because that ain't easy. That's not an easy job. I don't care what anybody will say in the future. I kick my hat off to you for that. So, yeah, but still, being out there and having the courage to be that first person, and to try to be the Pied Piper and bring some people out, um, that is a rare personality trait in itself. I don't think I could do that, and I'm an old man, and I've been around microphones for, you know, 80% of my life at this point, and I still have trouble getting, trying to be the person who brings it out. Are you the organizer type person?
I I sort of have become that person. I like especially with like collabs and things, like I have a lot of friends now that like to organize things. So it's a little bit easier now, but I did plan like a lot of like hangouts and a lot of meetups and
Hmm.
things, especially back at the start because I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to hang out with people. Let's go.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Now, are you at a point in VTubing that you want to be at this point? Did you really have a goal when you started, other than you just wanted to try it and see what happens?
I I did I never really had a specific goal in mind, which is it's kind of an interesting question. I wanted to play games with people. I wanted to draw. I wanted to just really just interact. I
Mm-hmm.
think was the biggest thing. So making friends, and I've got a nice little following now. I have regulars that hop in my chat quite often,
Mm-hmm.
which is really nice. I'm
Yeah.
getting to know people.
Yeah.
Um, there's always, the dream to like go big, but I also have no idea what I would do if that were to ever
Well, I tell people too. I said, I don't know what I'd do if I'm rich, but I'd like to give it a try. You know, if somebody's got about $1 million they're not looking to use, I'll see what I can do with it, and let's go from there. Uh, it's
yes.
but you do have a very bubbly personality for this, and that really does set well for being able to be approachable and personable in this format. And once you started getting people coming in, was it easy for you to keep them once they found you on the net?
Funnily enough, kind of yes. I was also surprised about that because you always have the people that like will pop in for like a particular game that
Mm-hmm.
they very much enjoy. Like I played Danganronpa,
Mm-hmm.
which if anybody is not familiar with that game, it's not for everybody,
No,
but
no.
it is.
Eh,
It's kind of it's like Squid Games, except it's high schoolers locked away in a high school.
yes, yes.
So
There are some people who cringe at the name Junko. I'll just say that. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. But I had a couple people pop in just for that game, but they've stuck around since and for pop into other streams and things. And it's like, oh wow, I thought you were just coming for this particular thing, but no.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough,
Yeah.
people stay.
They come back for the personality, and that's the way it used to be in the old days of radio, when there actually was local radio.
Mm.
Grumble, grumble, grumble. The I get to do that. I'm old. The But they come back for the personality of the person. They can come back and watch so many people do, Roblox or Minecraft, but they're going to come back for the personality of the person playing it. And that's gotta once that sets in with you, how does that make you feel?
It makes me very happy. I love when I can get somebody to just they pop back and it's so exciting to me. I'm like, oh, it's good to see you again, and I'll ask them how they're doing. And then sometimes we'll even get people who hop into our Discord, and I've gotten a few of them that hang out for like movie nights and stuff, and
Mm.
it's been really nice.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I don't get to talk about Discord very much here. I'm always concentrating on the VTuber side of things, but um, Discord has become kind of hand in hand with it so much, and more than hand in hand with some things. How important is the Discord to you at this point?
At this point, it's very important to me. When I first started out, I didn't really have much in the Discord. It was very quiet. No, we didn't really, there wasn't a lot of chatting or
Hmm.
anything going on. It was mostly just me throwing my little thoughts out into the universe. I have like a fun facts channel and like movies and things I like, things like that. So if I happened upon something, I was like, someone might find this interesting at some point. I'll throw it in there. But now we've got people who are chatting, and it's really nice to see people interacting. I have a couple people who very much came for my art streams and have stuck around to share their art with me, which I love seeing what people work on. It's so nice.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's very important.
yeah. It does. It gives you that extra chance to get a little more personal with them, than
Mhm.
because you're not really. And I'm guessing here, so tell me if I'm wrong, because my wife does that a lot, and I'm used to it. Um, the you're still kind of on stage when you're streaming. It's the show. You're the host. You're the creator of the world. But once you get into the side of the Discord, it's a little bit more personal.
Oh yes, definitely. Especially with stream, if you have enough people in your chat or there's enough going on, especially if you're like in a collab, because there's just almost no time to read chat and interact, directly.
Yeah, some
And I
of
do
those
like
games,
that. I like
yeah, some of those games you can't even interact with yourself. in those chats.
yes, exactly. Um, but yeah, I very much like the reading off what everybody sends as it comes in, and
Yeah.
in trying to actually interact. I'm very chatty. I'm very chatty.
Yeah, yeah, and being able to do a little more things like a movie watch along or some sort of game in Discord does add that extra personal touch to it, and really does kind of solidify that bond between yourself and chat. I think anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So what type of movies will you watch in your Discord?
Oh goodness, it's become kind of anything. It's become a little bit of a free for all. We started out with like terrible animated movies from our childhood that it was just, like, oh, you haven't seen this one, you have to see it. It's awful. It's great.
Yes, it's terrible. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Yes, all the made for TV holiday movies of the past.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Oh, Nestor, the Christmas donkey. No, no.
Oh, I found out one of my friends who's in my Discord. They were like, "Yeah, did you know there was a Titanic the animated movie?" And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like, "What?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. There is, and it's supremely bad.
It's so bad.
I mean, I kind of feel sorry for some of those folks because some of them you can tell it's just money grab things. Like
Mm.
uh, Snow White 3: The Search for Spock. That was a money grab, okay? Yeah, you could just tell that was going to be a money grab. But some of them, like the original ones, you could tell somebody had an idea and it was there. It's done lovingly and it's done so badly. I just
Yeah.
I feel bad for them. Okay, thanks for trying. Pat them on the head, give them a
Yes.
cookie. But that's a lot of fun. And again, that's kind of a bonding process. You can if you could have people sit around a fire and watch a bad movie, that's pretty good a bonding process, I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And it's evolved from bad movies to like really good movies that like if half of chat hasn't seen, I'm like, okay, no, you're all watching this.
yeah,
I am subjecting you to culture
yes,
today.
yes. And we're going to sit here and we're going to watch Shrek 2, whether you like it or not. Everybody has to be there, or I'll find you.
Yes.
Well, when you realize too that your potential audience is about 90% of the planet.
Wow,
I mean,
that's terrifying.
well, it was nice. It was nice knowing you. You hear running away in the distance.
Oh my god.
But really, the total audience, and some VTubers try to squabble with each other over viewers. It's so silly because the total number of viewers hasn't been reached yet. There's too many people still out there that would enjoy it that don't know it's there, and the potential is huge, absolutely huge. Um, there's a lot of people sitting in any particular state you want to notice, and that don't know what's going on that would enjoy watching you. To realize that or in a country, I'll say that somebody standing upside down on the other side of the world is waiting for you to stream.
That is very true. It is funny to think though 90% of the population, but it is. I have people who watch from Singapore. I have my boyfriend, which we met through VTubing. He's in Brazil.
Yeah.
Like just everybody anywhere in the world that you would never otherwise meet in person. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Is it something? And for an old radio guy like me, because I started radio in the '80s. Yeah, I'm very old. Um, but back then, talking to somebody in, I'll throw Singapore out as an example. I can do that here by picking up a microphone and turning a program on now. Back
Hmm.
then, we had Ma Bell, and we had to be over the phone, and would have cost a zillion dollars, and would have sounded like yelling into a can full of beans. Um, and I would have been fired earlier than I was for spending all that money on something. Uh, the the world has become very small. Still amount number of people, but still small. Uh,
Hmm.
so when you come on and you see people there waiting for you, and you don't necessarily know where they're from or why they're there, but you know they're there for you, does the anxiety build, or are you just happy to see them?
Oh no, I've been streaming on and off with some gaps
Mm-hmm.
for about 2 years now, and it's lovely seeing anytime you like it's the loading screen, the getting ready screen, and you
Mm-hmm.
see people redeeming, their daily check-ins and things, or saying hi, just
Mm-hmm.
letting you know that they're there while you're. It's so exciting. It's so nice that
Mm-hmm.
people are just waiting to see my silly self.
Wanted to be a part of it, and it's gratifying, fulfilling, and almost justifying at the same time for folks. And it was that way in radio too. When somebody actually comes and said, "Oh yeah, I listened to you. I listened to you when you said that really bad word on the air 2 years ago." Not that I ever did that, and you couldn't prove it if I did. Um, all the tapes have been erased. Uh, it is, in fact, a live program, so you don't really have a
Hmm.
net with that. And has that caught you up on occasion?
Not particularly. I've been very. There was one time where we almost had an incident that wasn't me. It was we were playing Jackbox games,
Oh yeah,
and so yeah,
yeah.
so you can get anybody could play with you potentially
Hmm.
who's a viewer,
Hmm.
because you only need the one game to run it, and then anybody can log in from anything.
Right.
And we had some trolls popped into, and this was way back when, like I think maybe a few 6 months after I started streaming. I
Hmm.
think so. I was still really fresh to it,
Yeah.
and I got very lucky that I caught what it was, because some people had drawn some very unfortunate things, and
Mm,
I very quickly, I was like, nope, I nuked the game before it could make it live on air.
yeah.
It was, but we caught it, but it was like, okay, we're new rules, everyone.
And not that I'm putting these rules in for any particular reason or anything. Just it just came up. I can assure you it wasn't me, because if it had to do anything with drawing, it's actually illegal for me to draw art.
Oh no, don't say that.
Mm,
I'm a big advocate of anybody can draw. It takes some practice, but anybody can draw.
I'm all for it, but if you add the word else, anybody else can draw. I'm all for that. I'll just wear the badge else. I'm that else person. Um, so with the art, have you always been somebody who has enjoyed the being artistic?
Oh yes, that's the one thing that is extremely consistent since childhood. Is I remember having a big book of birds at
Mm,
like age, I want to say I was like 6 years old, and then copying the pictures as best as I could freehand out of it. And it was so funny. They looked so like lifelike to me, and then growing up and looking back at them, like, oh, that's those are shapes.
why does that shoe have? Or why does that bird have shoes? I don't on on their wings. I don't understand that. Yeah, but back then you knew you were you were you know Monet there trying
Yes.
as a kid.
Oh,
But it's that kind of sowed the seeds for you though.
oh yes.
Yeah.
It's so funny too, because I remember being in, it was first grade when Pokemon came out, and they had them on the back of the Lunchables, and
Mm,
everyone was like, "Oh, I want a Pokemon so bad," and no one could get cards because no one knew where the cards were at that point. It literally had just arrived in America.
yeah.
Um, and I had kids paying me a quarter to draw them like Pikachu and stuff, which was great.
Now that's a hustle I can get behind. That's good work. The there you go. That's using your noodle there.
Oh, they had to shut me down. The kids were using their extra little ice cream money. The parents were getting upset.
That's a brilliant story. I love that. I don't think that's fair at all. I mean, you were just being an entrepreneur. That's all you were doing. The kids got what they wanted, and you got to practice. There you go. And nobody was getting hurt, and everybody was getting their Pokemon. That's all there is to
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Now, if you'd just found those boxes and like bought a couple of them as a kid, you could buy yourself a couple of new cars.
Oh, it's so funny the how popular that has grown. I don't think I ever expected Pokemon to be not only still around, but like it is a sensation.
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, I actually played the original a couple of years ago when I found an old Game Boy in my son-in-law's car. And it still had Pokemon on it, and I was like, "Hey, no wonder people like this game." I have no
Oh
idea
my
what I'm
goodness.
doing, but yeah. And then it got dark and I couldn't see it, and I put it down. So yeah, no light in there. It's the old Game Boy. Um, but yeah, that's like when I was a kid and collecting sports cards. Like, gee, if I'd have just not opened any of those packs, I'd be rich.
Yes, no, I think about that sometimes where it's like I had at one point, and I've had to sell things like for like moving funds,
Oh
etc.
yeah,
over the
yeah,
years. So
yeah.
I don't have hardly any of my stuff anymore, but I had a binder that was, and it was a thick binder. I want to say it was like a 4 inch wide
Whoa.
binder full of Pokemon cards that was so full that the cover stood almost 90 degrees up. Like it,
That's one of those you can't actually put on the shelf. It's
yes,
not going to fit.
exactly.
Yeah, and then of course stupid life gets in the way and you have to sell them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do that with some sports cards. I'm not happy.
Oh,
But I managed to keep most of them. And I've got to have something that keeps the wife irritated. Otherwise, she'll have me do other things. I have to keep her occupied. Um, but did you continue with art through school, or did you take any classes, or is it all self-taught?
it's a lot of self-taught, but I did take. So I went to a high school that had extra art programming.
Hmm.
So I took a lot of extra art classes in high school. I never ended up doing anything in college for it.
Hmm.
Um, but I've continued studying on my own quite a
Hmm.
bit. And I've It's funny looking at where I was very happy with where I was at the end of high school.
Hmm.
But now I've grown so much since then, and it's so funny to because I tell this to people. It's like when you're starting drawing, it's not going to look perfect. There's a process to it,
Yeah.
but you will look back years from now and go, "Wow, I am so good compared to where I started out," and
Yes.
it's really nice.
Yeah. Well, for me, sometimes I can now draw things without them being set on fire. However, however, the last time I did draw a stick figure, lightning struck very close nearby, so I think there's probably a sign. I stay away from that as much as possible. But really, the advancement in continuing to practice and do that, it sometimes it to me I think it would create a better individual artist than kind of going through the cut and paste and this is how you do it type of classes. Sometimes the individuality gets lost um, in the wrong art class.
Yes, I've seen that happen to people, especially for college. Not so much high school. High school, usually you have the teachers that are they're very fun. They don't care what you do as long as the assignment is completed.
Yeah, that's
Um,
pretty much all of
but
all of high school, depending on
yes.
the school.
Oh, I had a very one very eccentric art teacher. Loved him. He was great, but he let me draw wild things that I don't think most teachers. I went through. This is a very much a side tangent, but I
Yeah.
went through a whole thing where I was designing creatures in high
Oh,
school, right?
yeah.
And I at one point went, well, these creatures would eat each other in any kind of world you drop them in, and I had seen a program on the chupacabra literally the week
Oh,
before,
yeah.
and so I might have drawn a very large creature very graphically eating a smaller creature. It wasn't really graphic. At the time, it felt very graphic to me, but it was just blood dripping. It wasn't like, entrails and like craziness. No.
It wasn't intestines hanging out or anything like that. No.
No, nothing too crazy, but it's one of those things that's like, he should not have let me paint that in school.
Well, to believe me, there's worse, but you could have gotten like Illustrator on some of these magazines back then. You could, it was good enough. They'd have hired you in a heartbeat. You'd have been in like the Vampirella comics or something like that. They'd have hired you up, put you in there. Leah, people go through some of their more creative periods through that time. I know some friends of mine would do like superheroes. They'd make up superheroes with just the absolute worst superpowers whatsoever. Absolutely, just. I mean, I remember one of them. One of them was the hoverer. He could get exactly 1 inch off the ground, and that's all they could do. One of them could only like throw up a dot in the middle of the air. That's one blue dot. That's not very big, and that was it. But my personal favorite was Trouble Man, who every time he got into the slightest bit of trouble, he teleported straight back 1 mile.
Oh no!
and without his clothes.
Oh no! So basically, he would never be able to get to work.
No, in fact, it never stopped at all. Because even the slightest bit, if there was a bee nearby, boing, 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 boing. So basically, he kept going around the world backwards, naked, all the way around the world.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, but just remember, if he ever fell down, he'd be pointing upward, and he'd go straight into the ground.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, or if you lean down, you go straight up, which is even worse. You just keep flying upward, and that's a lot of trouble.
Oh my god!
Now you want a tangent? Now that's a tangent. Anyways, with your streaming, were you very comfortable with it to start with? Did it take a little while to get used to being in the chair with the microphone, or did it just come natural for you?
It's a little bit of a mix. I will say I probably would say I'm a little bit more comfortable than the average person, but when I started out, I was so nervous. In fact, I have a YouTube, and I had started originally. I'm on Twitch now fully, but for the first several months of streaming, I was streaming to YouTube, which is a little bit harder to get interaction on, especially starting out.
Right.
But I have my original VOD of my debut, and you can hear the anxiety in my voice, and I'm talking at 50 miles a minute going through my slides, and it's very funny to watch now and be like, yeah, no, I was so nervous.
That's where you have 20 minutes worth of slides, and you get them done in 5. Let's go over those again 4 more times. In case you missed it. That's it. That kind of feeling is universal. I've got 10 minutes left, and I don't know what to say. Were you able to fill in some of those gaps early on where you have to kind of talk in circles to no one in particular?
Yes, actually. So I have ADHD, and that, funnily enough, has come in very handy. I did not realize how bad my ADHD was because I'm very in person. I'm very... I know to, be a little bit more reserved because if I just keep running at the mouth, I don't want to interrupt people. I don't want to,
right.
You don't want to narrate your every thought live in person, right?
Yeah.
But with streaming, I am just it's just a stream of consciousness. I don't have to worry about overstepping and accidentally talking over somebody. It's just me there. And then anytime I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, I'll take and do this, and then I'll do that. And let's go over here. Oh, what's that? Like you can just let the stream of consciousness fly.
Yeah.
And that's helped a lot, I think, with the filling the air. It was so much so, in fact, that my roommate had to tell me, he's like, you kind of have to, you can let there be dead air. You can, like, I'd be drawing and I'd just be telling stories while I was drawing.
Yeah.
And my roommate, they go, yeah, no, most people have very quieter streams than yours.
we really didn't need to know that. Well, now you do. Hey, so sorry. But that's kind of the essence of what streamers are doing. You're providing, you are the entertainment, and you are also in charge of the world that you've created. So um, you're very much the captain of the ship, and you steer it the way where you want to go. I know there's a lot of chatters who think they're the captains of the ship. Uh, no, no, you can be very obnoxious passengers sometimes, but sometimes you'll get a chance to help out a little bit if you become a moderator. But the do you feel the pressure sometimes of taking control and making sure things are going right on your channel?
A little bit. For the most part, we don't really have a. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me clear my throat. Just a moment.
It's okay. It's okay. Frogs in the Throat,
Okay.
provided by Frogs in the Throat Enterprises. That's our only sponsor for the show.
But I think for the most part, because I wasn't trying to like be somebody I'm not. I wasn't trying to wear a face or anything like that. I haven't had a lot of the trouble. Anybody who comes to my stream is going to stay for the yappy person because I've been yappy the entire time. This hasn't changed.
Mm.
So I think that has helped a lot, is just being myself,
Mhm.
very upfront.
Yeah.
I've had a couple, like you always have one or two chatters that come in and like sort of I don't know what they were expecting when they come to my chat.
Yeah.
I had this one person and it was very interesting because the first thing they say when they hop in a chat, I don't know how long they were lurking,
Yeah.
but they say, "Wow, your voice is annoying. I don't know how your parents put up with you." And
Yeah.
I sort of blinked a moment and I go, "You know what? You're right. It is pretty annoying, but oh well."
Yeah.
And then they backtracked. They
Yeah.
went, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, "It's okay. If you want to stay and vibe, that's fine."
Yeah. Yeah. You're like you didn't go for the bait. You just added more bait. That's the way to do it. And here you go. Here's I'll put a cheese sandwich on your hook. How about that? How's that gonna go? But that's just it. You don't have that type of voice. You have a very welcoming, earnest tone without a lot of sharp edges, and anybody would want to stay and chat with you and find out what's going on, and it's very inviting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it really is, and that type of thing really fits this sort of medium really well, and I can imagine folks tuning in and just wanting to stay there, and find out what's going on with. And do you ever listen back to your streams and think, who is that person hosting the stream?
Sort of. There's this interesting thing. So I'm trans. So I have so I go by he him pronouns, if that wasn't obvious by the name Ethan. It's so funny because I do have people ask me my pronouns and I go, I picked the most default masculine name I could.
Well, I mean,
that still suited me.
Yeah, you give it yeah. There's, at least it wasn't like Brick or something, like some soap opera
Yes.
name that would have been that.
But yes. So I'm trans and I used to really hate my voice because it is high pitch. I'm very aware that I have a very light voice, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But listening back to it enough times over going through to look for clips or to go back and be like, what was this moment that I remembered? Things like that.
Right.
I'd be like, oh, I've sort of desensitized myself to that part of my dysphoria. It's actually been good for me in that way.
Yeah. And I'm not going to even come close to try and understand what trans folks go through with that sort of thing, because it's what you guys are, what you folks are dealing with is something I can't. I can try and sympathize with you, but I'm sorry, I just can't empathize because I can't even put myself in that position. But I can't imagine what it'd be like to suddenly find your voice not just bearable at this point, but useful and acceptable at this point in what you want to do. I mean, am I hitting that note right, or am I?
Yes, it's one of those things where it's helped my dysphoria a lot because I've had, because I'm using Ethan, and
Yeah.
that's the name that is the name I would like to be called,
Yes.
around.
Yeah.
But being in the real world, we can't always have nice things. So, but
Mhm.
I've gotten used to my name. I've gotten used to people treating me as a man. I've gotten used to my voice in looking at the character that represents me, that is very, very accurate to me,
Mhm.
I would say, and going, the voice suits him,
Yeah.
and it's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. This medium should be the chance for folks who are dysphoric, folks who are trans, folks who want to present themselves in a different way, or to do that safely and um, comfortably. Do you think that's the case?
I think so. I think there's a lot of space to explore yourself,
Mm.
especially. And like, there's VTubers that rebrand all the time, and they're still getting used to what they want. They're still figuring out who they are,
Mhm.
what they want for their audience, things like that. And there's people are usually pretty chill with that, as long as it's still you.
Mhm.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. I point out that it's like going from high school to college. You're still the same person, but the people you're meeting now don't know that in fourth grade you bent over and split your pants while picking up a pencil. They don't have that
Yes.
preconceived notion. You get to set the narrative, and you get to introduce yourself the way you want to be introduced, and you start from square one instead of square, splitting pants. It's you don't get the highlights, but you also don't get the lowlights, and you get to go from there. And it sounds like you really grabbed this by the horns.
Yes, it's such a funny thing. It's a relief to me.
Mm.
The you are exactly as you present yourself, essentially. You don't have your face to say anything for you. You don't have the way you dress. You don't have anything. There's none of that visual representation except what you pick out. It's if whatever model you pick, even if it's something silly, that can be something you want to do. I have a friend who is a bacon pierogi.
And people out there listening go, yum. Yeah, and depending on what time of day they're listening, they just started putting an order in for their DoorDash at that point. But yeah, you get the chance to be. You have set the narrative, you set the standards, and you are in control of it. And
Yes.
as long as, if we can't have that in our day-to-day modern society, which unfortunately, I'm sorry, Ethan, but it just, you know better than I do how tough that is these days. At least there's this, and you get to present yourself to even more potential people around the world the way you want to be presented.
Exactly.
And I, for one, wish you the absolute best at it, because I think this was built for you at this point. I think it was just waiting for you, because your personality and your skills, and it's so easy to talk to. It just absolutely clicks all the tickets, and I think you're going to have so much fun, and people are going to continue to have fun being a part of your community. And I thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have all of the links we've been able to find in the description for the video. But please keep in touch. Let me know what's going on. Come back soon, and we'll talk more about the fascinating person that is Ethan.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me. This has actually been a blast. I loved it.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.